And we are live. Little cure for some Friday I'm in love, because I'm in love today, folks. I'm in love. This is my favorite day of the week, but it's my favorite show of the week. Why? Well, one is the Tigers are playing tomorrow. I always get fired up for that. And I know all of our fans, our beloved Purple and Gold Nation, are ready to take on the other Tigers from the Show Me State. And who am I referring to? Well, unless you've been hiding under a rock, it is the Missouri Tigers coming down to Tiger Stadium from Columbia, Missouri. 6:30 SEC Network. Huge game for the Tigers. Really, how do they respond type game? We're going to get to that. My final thoughts there. If you haven't listened earlier in the week, I'm picking LSU 35 and Missouri 14. But I just want to kind of touch on a few things before I stop talking about that game. I'm also going to give you my prediction on the big one, Wisconsin, Michigan. And I'm going to give out my Stanford, Washington pick today. Another great game. College football is loaded this weekend. Lots of storylines, lots of games, a lot of good stuff going on. I'm going to give my pick six. As always, no, I'm not referring to the pick six of an interception return for a touchdown. I'm referring to Jameson. The Jameson Day shows against the spread, 6 picks. Boy, last week was I off or what? 1-5. That's very rare for me. 1-5. I was 1-2 in the NFL. 0-3. 0-3 in college football. I've got 6 outstanding picks for you this week. I'm going to let you know those, kind of break a little bit down why I picked those games. And then we're going to talk about a few other things that really, a couple news stories that came about. Is I understand Nick Saban called the guy out without calling him out on his radio show. Everybody in the world knows who he's referring to. Now, get it. Yesterday, when he's at the media, he says, I'm not talking about it. So sometimes players choose to make decisions in life regarding their status instead of sticking it out. They asked him to elaborate on it. He said he can't talk about it. BS, Nick. We all know who you're talking about. You could have just said a few words at the press conference. But no, you decide that you're going to go explain yourself on your radio show. Why? Because all your callers and all of your fans that love you, worship the ground you walk on, that aren't going to give you any opposition. That's why you're going to come out a little bit more and talk about it. You know, Saban's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. His record speaks for itself. The number of players he turns out. But he is a donkey's you-know-what when it comes to being a person at times. He always titles himself as, I want to be a good person. We try to make our players good people. Come on, dude. You want to sit here and call out a kid for making a decision on his own and you're going to throw him under the bus basically because he made a decision on his own because he was on the depth chart, third, behind a redshirt freshman who isn't going to lose that job, in my opinion. And Jalen Hurts. He's been tremendous. This kid is making a decision. He was previously a 2015 four-star recruit. He's making a personal decision. That I see myself third. I don't see myself in your good graces. I also don't see myself playing. You can't blame the kid. He's not quitting. He's just going to a better opportunity. In my opinion, it's a smart move. When you are seeing yourself as third on the ladder and you see an opportunity to be the starting quarterback, who's not going to try that opportunity? You see the writing on the wall. If a guy doesn't mess up, you're not going to get your opportunity. And he's going to get slammed for doing it. An NFL executive mentioned something about it's going to haunt him. Nick Saban's going to say, you're quitting, blah, 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 blah. But this guy, in my opinion, is the king of contradiction. The king of contradiction. So many things that he has said, he goes back on. I mean, let's start with the obvious. What he did first. You know, he's always about integrity. He's always about honoring what you said you were going to do and doing it to the best of the ability. I mean, look, before I get into the first thing he did, and I'm sure most of you know, I don't blame him for wanting to go to the next level. To try to better himself. He had that itch. But you are in what? The first 30%, 40% of that contract. And you have 1-9-7 season, and then you're like, I think he was like 5-8, 5-9 at that point in the second season. And he says, I am not going to Alabama. Do I have to say it? And then you go back, and I believe it was maybe a week or two after the season. I don't remember the exact date. Then he goes and accepts the job in Alabama, gets on a plane to go to Alabama, becomes their next head coach. You completely did the opposite. So you quit on Miami, and on your contract, when you say what you honor up to do, you quit because you didn't see the gold at the end of the rainbow. You didn't see an opportunity to do great things where you were. So you quit on the team, and you went to Alabama where you knew you would succeed. It wasn't a challenge really to you. It's not like, going to Kentucky or going to Vanderbilt and bringing their program from nothing up into what you've done in Alabama now. I mean, how hard was it, seriously, to get recruits to go to Alabama? Nothing, man. That's not some huge job. Yes, he's turned it into domination for sure. But it's not like Alabama was hurting. It's not like you can't recruit from their tradition. But this guy wants to call out a player. Matter of fact, he says to former quarterback Greg McElroy, who was their media guest on the Nick Saban show, he asked, how many years were you here before you played? 3 years? Saban said to McElroy, I don't think you started a game when you were an undergraduate. Then started 2 years and won a national championship. And, of course, McElroy is going to say some things are worth waiting for. McElroy's like, Saban. But then he comes and Saban, instead of, again, denying and saying he can't talk about it, he waits until he gets in front of fans. And then he talks about how his dad used to say the grass is always greener on the septic tank. It's always better someplace else. So you think instead of facing your fears and really overcoming adversity and making yourself better through competition, you go someplace else thinking it will be better there. But until you face your fears, you're always going to have some of these issues or problems. Nick Saban, are you serious? Go backtrack, and that's exactly what you did. The grass was greener on the septic. That's what you did. It wasn't good enough for you to be on top of the world at LSU, but you had to be top of top in the NFL. You didn't get there. You lie and then come back in college because you couldn't take it. You didn't overcome adversity. Yet you get on the air and talk about one of your players needs to come adversity. Oh, no. He is such a... I don't... There's so many words that you could use. I mean, he's a liar. He goes and says things and he backtracks. He contradicts himself constantly. It's like he wants to forget what he did in Miami and not ever have to be referenced to it. Something else he made. In 2000, I believe it was when he was at LSU, he made the statement, if you don't win your conference, you shouldn't be able to compete in the national championship. He came out and said that. Yet in 2011, when he didn't even win the West, he comes out and says, a team battled back, hard fought, they deserve it. The man will backtrack on anything. Yet he says he's such an integrity. That means more to him. I don't need to go any further because I think the evidence right there presents itself. He's a narcissist. He thinks he's the best. He thinks everything, this, that, or the other. He can do whatever he wants to do because people put him on such a pedestal at Alabama. Dude, look, whenever it gets uncomfortable, when the heat gets too much in the kitchen, you leave to go to another better opportunity. So don't criticize a 19-year-old kid because he wants to do something that you did. If anything, you should be understanding. Saying, my dad would have thrown me out of the house if I quit. I don't have any respect. Like I said, I respect the guy as a coach because of what he's been able to do. As far as a human being, I have no respect for the guy. That's it. Point blank, period. So, if you want to send me some messages, you can go to the message board here at Spreaker.com and just give me your thoughts because I'd be interested in seeing your thoughts. You can find me on Facebook. Send me a message on Facebook. I'm just interested in people's thoughts on what they think about it. And, any questions you might have, please, the Jameson Daigle Show welcomes